Hi guys, my name is Prince Ichie and you're welcome back to the channel. So, I came across a video of a MAGA supporter who feels betrayed for Trump's policies on the American farmers. He voted Trump, he believed in America first, but now this MAGA cattle rancher feels completely betrayed. Why? Because Trump is importing beef from Argentina, forcing American ranchers to slash their prices just to survive. How can you promise to protect the US farmers, then make foreign beef cheaper than the beef raised in your own heartland? This isn't just politics, it's a stab in the back of the people who supported him the most. So guys, let's get into the videos.
So I'm very happy about that. We're going to do something very quickly and easily on beef to get it down. The ranchers understand that. They're so happy for what I've done. I saved them. I don't think you'd have any beef in this country if I didn't do that. So we're very proud of that.
What I understand is, with all this imported beef, it actually is increasing the cost of your beef in the stores, because if we can produce it here and you don't have all the transportation costs, it saves the packer money, saves the consumer money to get it on the shelves. I don't understand why it wouldn't be much cheaper for us to be able to produce it here at home like we've always done until very recently. It's what made America great 100 years ago, because we could provide for ourselves and export to other nations our surplus.
Demand hasn't slowed down one bit, which has led to the cyclical rise of the increase of beef prices. So lower stock of beef, higher demand for beef, prices are likely to continue to rise for the next couple of years. We can teach you how to cook and how to buy those cheaper cuts to stretch and last. Everybody wants those nice tender middle steaks, but if you want to buy those, your wallet has to be prepared to start taking a hit. It's such a limited amount. Prices going up on boxed beef all over the country.
Mr. President, I agree with you on 99% of the things you do. And truly, in your heart, I know that you want to see America great again. But that being said, I think that bringing massive amounts of foreign beef to our country is anything but America first. With cattle herds at an all-time low and current markets at an all-time high, the stage is set. We've seen this movie before and we know how it ends. Because 4 years ago, I stood on a stage at a cattlemen's convention, and me, a sheep guy, most of them were wondering what I was doing there and what I had to say to them. But I was there to tell them about the canary in the coal mine, which was the sheep industry roughly 40 years ago. Because we were about the same place then as the beef industry is today. There used to be 56 million sheep in the United States. Now, with the flood of imports, there is about 5 million head of sheep in the United States. A once vibrant industry that supported rural communities dried up just like that. I don't want the same thing to happen to the beef producers here in the United States. Because right now there are families that have leveraged everything to stay in this market. And if the bottom falls out of it because of cheap meat brought in from other countries, they'll lose everything. It's not these big corporations, these big conglomerates that are going to lose it all. It's the family farms. It's the generational ranchers in this country that are going to lose everything. They're betting the farm on it. And bringing this meat in to undercut their market is going to cause generational damage to them. There's a growing concern in our country over our national security. From the crisis we saw at the southern border during the Biden administration, to wars in the Middle East and Europe, to the aggressions of China in the Pacific theater, people should be concerned. And our food security is national security. And I've yet to see it get the attention that it deserves. And we're watching in real time as we outsource our agricultural commodities and our food to other countries. Prior to 2020, we ran about a $4 billion trade surplus in the agricultural sector. As of 2025, the projected deficit is around $50 billion. From $4 billion above to $50 billion below in just 5 years. A country that can't feed itself, can't defend itself. And is it really a country at all? The agricultural producers in this country don't want a bailout. They don't want a subsidy. They want a fair playing field in which to compete. They want American consumers to know where their food's coming from. and they want to be given the opportunity to make America healthy again, to provide for the American people, provide that national security, and ultimately help to make America great again.
They say that importing more beef keeps prices low for the consumers, but that's just not the truth. Since 2017, beef imports have gone up about 43%, and the price of beef at the grocery store has gone up 42%. So who's really winning here? It's not the ranchers, it's not the consumers, it's the global meat packers who are profiting. More imports don't mean cheaper groceries, they mean fewer American ranchers, more empty main streets, and less control over our own food supply. It's time to put American cattle industry first again. All we're asking for is a fair market and a label that tells the truth. Product of USA should mean born, raised, and processed in the United States of America.
As a producer, I want a fair and open, thriving market that people have to compete for my life's work. And that's all I expect. I don't want a subsidy. I don't want a handout. I just like to be an American, raise an American product, and have it competed for.
Earl voted Trump twice, but doesn't think the president's plan to import cattle from Argentina to boost inventory puts America first.
Most Americans don't know 4 companies own 85% of the processed meat in this country. 2 of those 4 are foreign companies.
America's cattle ranchers and some of the biggest organizations representing them are voicing heated opposition to President Trump's decision to help Argentina. They say his plan to quadruple beef imports from Argentina will seriously hurt their bottom line, just when they've had some rare years of profitability. But the president dismissed that criticism, writing on Truth Social, the farmers don't understand how they're benefiting from his tariffs. Our MSNBC teams are reporting live from cattle ranches in both countries. Rosa Flores in Hershey, Nebraska. David Noriega is in Buenos Aires province, Argentina. Okay, Rosa, how are ranchers in Nebraska reacting to Trump's comments?
Well, Chris, I spoke with 5 ranchers here in Nebraska, salt of the earth people, the kindest people you will meet. All Republican. They all supported President Donald Trump. They all believe in America First policies, but they don't agree with the president on everything. They certainly don't agree with the idea of flooding the American beef market with foreign beef. Now, if I could summarize into one thought, the conversations that I had with all of these cattle ranchers, it would be this. Their biggest message is that they believe in small government. They do not believe in the government interfering in the free market. They don't believe in the government interfering in their business. They say that there's already plenty of uncertainty and volatility in the market. They don't need added volatility. Take a listen.
Let the market be the market. When it gets high enough, enough people will walk away, and it'll start correcting itself.
So in essence, President Trump don't interfere in the market?
Well, we don't. We appreciate all he does, but being in the market is probably not something we're very anxious to have the government in. Ronald Reagan used to have the saying, I'm the government, I'm here to help. That's never worked out real good for us producers.
After speaking to all of these ranchers, I wrote an email to the White House expressing some of the things that I heard from these ranchers. I have not heard from the White House. But, Chris, I should say that on Tuesday, after Republican lawmakers started expressing concerns about the president's suggestion of importing beef from Argentina into the U.S. to drop down the price of beef, I did reach out to the White House with a long list of questions. They did not answer my specific questions, but I did get a statement that said in part that the White House is committed to addressing the concerns of American cattle producers.
Okay, thank you for that, Rosa. David, what are you hearing then in Argentina?
Yeah, exactly, over the other shoulder, yeah.
So, Chris, just to set the scene for you a little bit, I'm on a small ranch a couple hours outside of Buenos Aires, which is run by a man named Martín Vivanco. He's actually right over there. I don't know if maybe you can see him if we look over that way in a moment. This is a very specialized operation because what they do is it's a breeding operation. I'll show you the actual cows here. These are all breeding cows, and what Martín does is he basically provides genetic material for other ranchers, larger ranchers, to improve their stock, which actually goes to a pretty relevant point here, because when Donald Trump says that he's going to quadruple beef imports from Argentina, he's talking about lowering prices for American consumers. But the kind of beef that's produced here in Argentina, in the cattle country where I am, is generally not the sorts of general consumption beef that winds up at a grocery store where a regular American consumer would buy it. By and large, it tends to be high quality cuts of meat that go to restaurants and caterers, high-end hotels, that kind of buyer, that kind of customer. So those are, in the US, the importers, the buyers who are going to benefit from this kind of thing. Whereas here in Argentina, likely the whole ranching and certainly the exporting sector of the beef industry is going to benefit substantially. That's what Martin told me when I asked him. He said that if this does in fact happen, his operation will probably see substantial benefits. When I asked him, by the way, to respond to the kinds of criticisms that American cattle ranchers have for this plan that you just heard from Rosa's great reporting up there in Nebraska, what he said was, I thought it was kind of funny. He said, you know, the United States is a country that has built its sort of global brand on freedom. And if it opens up its market to increased imports from Argentina, well, then that's just the free market functioning as it should. And that maybe these American cattle ranchers, once they get over the sort of initial shock at this change, maybe they'll realize that they can just compete with their fellow Argentinian cattle ranchers, maybe in a way that both of them will be better off in the end. But the definite takeaway, Chris, is that ranchers and beef producers here in Argentina are very much excited about this possibility. They've always aspired to have a greater share of the American market. They really hope that this actually comes to pass, and they hope that maybe the impacts on American ranchers won't be as dire as the ranchers themselves in the U.S. predict. Chris?
Yeah, time will tell. It's going to be fascinating because what we have right now is American cattle ranchers worried it's going to be bad for them, Argentinian cattle ranchers saying it's going to be good for them, and the top producers in the entire country are all red states. Rosa Flores, David Noriega, thank you both. Great reporting.
Everybody's wound up today because Trump says we're going to import all this beef from Argentina. We're going to lower our beef prices because the beef's too expensive here. And I thought I'd throw my 2 cents in. First of all, it's not really a new thing to import beef. We've imported beef in this country for a long time. What is new, however, is the government getting involved because of the prices and saying the beef prices are too high. We're going to make a deal. We're going to buy a bunch of beef from Argentina, and we're going to undercut the American farmers and ranchers who are finally making some decent money. And that's just, it's a socialist mindset, if you ask me. That's not what I've grown up thinking as an American market, you know, supply and demand. Where did that go?
President Trump said he's thinking about importing more beef from Argentina to bring prices at the store down for consumers. I'm Adam Klepp on the Arizona Cattle Ranch, listening to ranchers about what they think of that proposal.
And that already has, futures market was down the limit. That happened the day after the tweet came out. So it's already affecting us.
Way out west. Hey. Brian Dagenall, a third-generation Arizona rancher and president of the Arizona Cattle Growers Association, is working his herd.
Ranching's always been a family business, has been for years.
But lately, harder to make a living doing it.
90% of the cattle ranchers are Trump voters. But yeah, this was something that we have to call him on and say, no, we don't agree. Right?
Beef prices have risen by almost $1 a pound since February. But for American ranchers, that's meant finally seeing some solid profit after years of thin margins.
We need to be able to make a living ranching, and that will build. The market will correct itself, and there'll be more cattle if there's a profit to be made.
Come on. After several years of losing money on cattle, Berlin and Pete Wobetter were looking forward to turning a profit. They also grow corn and soy, those sales devastated by the ongoing trade war with China.
How important is it to you that you have cattle and when soy and corn is going so poorly?
Well, it's going to depend on the year, but this year it is the one thing that is going to make any money for us.
So the Wobetters were astounded when President Trump announced he wanted to quadruple beef imports from another country.
If we do that, that will bring our beef prices down. It would help Argentina, which we consider a very good country, a very good ally.
His words sent wholesale cattle prices plummeting. In the supermarket, the price for meat has skyrocketed over the past year. Ground beef up nearly 13%, steak up 16%.
You have to look at the total supply chain.
Brian Whalen is the CEO of the Iowa Cattlemen's Association. He says Americans won't really see grocery savings from increasing beef imports.
It really only is going to be about 2.5% of our total beef supply. It's really not going to make a substantial difference.
The Wobetters and their neighbors say they're disappointed that the president's America First trade agenda doesn't include them.
The whole point of tariff was to bring production back home. So we are producing beef here, and now he is trying to do something to destroy that production.
We're being used and abused as producers.
It feels like being a pawn in a game we're not going to win.
The White House press secretary says that the president, quote, loves ranchers, but feels like increasing supply is the best way to decrease prices. Meanwhile, all of the farmers here are waiting for news on that long overdue aid program that's been put on hold because of the government shutdown.
Let's do a little economics lesson. When cattle numbers are low, beef prices are going to be high. The U.S. herd is the smallest it's been in decades. Drought and high feed costs force ranchers to downsize. Drought means less grass, more expensive feed, and higher production costs. Restrictions and tariffs are cutting into supply and raising costs. Labor, fuel, and packaging are all more expensive. You can't grow a herd overnight. It takes years to recover cattle numbers. This is the first time in about 20 years that cattle producers are actually doing pretty well and are in the green in the market right now. Having 50% tariffs on Brazil is not really what's helping us. What's truly helping us is our beef in the United States is the safest and healthiest product that you can find in the world. And guess what? Consumers are still buying our product despite the high beef prices right now because it's safe and they trust us. Now, I don't have a crystal ball, but we will see what happens when we have extra beef coming in from different countries like Argentina or Brazil. But something tells me that the consumer is behind the American rancher. Let me know what you think.
We haven't heard a word from this president or the agriculture secretary. We haven't had a FaceTime meeting. You know, generally when these administrations come in, they invite agricultural leaders for a meet and greet and tell you about what the next 4 years is going to look like policy-wise. That has not happened. And you know what's alarming to me is that this president gave away $40 billion to Argentina to help Argentina farmers and soybean producers there and beef cattle producers there, while we're here at home losing our farms. So you spoke about the $3 billion. That's a very small amount for the farm industry. I hate to say it like that, but we were expecting, you know, a full package that could help America's farmers, and all we are getting is more delays. And yesterday the president said, you know, that his tariffs are great and it's helping America's beef cattle farmers, and we wouldn't be enjoying high prices if it wasn't for him. It's totally opposite, people. I've been out here warning people for a long time that the beef cattle prices were going to rise because we're not producing and not helping America's beef cattle farmers stay on the farm. So we have a lot of problems, and we're yet to hear concrete answers and solutions from this administration.
And there you have it, guys. A rancher who believed in the message and got hit with the reality. Look, supporting farmers isn't just a slogan. These are real people, real families, and real livelihood at stake. You can't shout America first on stage and then push policies that leave American farmers dead last. If we can't protect the backbones of our food supply, then what exactly are we protecting? I personally believe America should stand with the hardworking men and women who feed the nation, not undercut them with cheap imports while pretending it's patriotism. So what do you think? Did Trump betray his own supporters? Or is this just business? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button if you support American farmers, and don't forget to subscribe for more real stories they don't want you to hear. Thanks for watching and see you on the next one.